Wish you were here. When I was in middle school, I was sitting on the front steps to my porch in Springfield when a boy from my neighborhood walked up the street with his friend, Patrick. Patrick immediately came over, sat down next to me, and started to talk. He was so cute and seemed to really enjoy talking to me. I remember asking what his name was, but I didn't understand what he said. I asked him to spell it, and he spelled it with an apostrophe after a part that didn't make sense to me. From what I recall, it was P-drag. I asked him where the vowel was and he just smiled. My friend came down, saying that Patrick's parents were coming to get him. He hadn't wanted to leave, but he could not stay because there had been trouble with his father before. Later, I heard that he had been beaten by his father. After he left, I asked a neighbor about Patrick's name, and she said he was not from this country, that there were problems with his father's behavior, and that he might have to be sent back to where he came from. From what I recall, the beating was so bad that the police were called. I felt sorry for Patrick, and that evening when I went to bed I prayed that he would be okay. It was the first time I can ever remember praying for anyone. When I was in high school, there was a boy who would stop by the store where I worked and talk to me every day. He would just magically appear. I asked him his name, and he said, Pat. He told me he was from Ireland. I used to ask him how long he had been standing there behind me, and he would just smile. We built up a good friendship over the months until he told me he would not be able to stop by again. When he left that day, I cried. I had a thought come to my mind that I would see him again one day and that he would be my husband, and this thought comforted me. There were so many other things, a boy with whom I felt a strong connection who would always say hello to me after French class, tapping me as he left the room. One whom I would talk to at a place we called The Wall, whose conversations I enjoyed. I remember, in college, weekends at the Jersey Shore and a nightclub I went to every weekend. There was a man on stage working with the sound and lights who would stare at me. I thought he was cute, so I smiled and waved. I always felt that someone was watching me there, so I soon stopped going, but I had the strange feeling that I might have blown an opportunity that life would have given me to meet the man on the stage, and that there was something more for us. And then, there was the time when my friend mentioned a coworker named Patrick who had been born and when my friend mentioned a coworker named Patrick who had been born in Ireland. Even though my friend assured me it wasn't the boy from my memories, I daydreamed that it was he. I baked banana bread and pumpkin pies for my friend to take to work and share with Patrick. Eventually, I forgot about all of this and married someone else. 30 years after the last time I saw Patrick, he contacted me via the internet and asked to meet up. On the initial meeting, I did not recognize him. He asked if I truly remembered him and looked me in the eyes. I recognized those eyes, it was vaguely coming back. Afterward, he said that we should meet for a real date. When we did, I felt such a connection that it scared me. I strongly felt that he would be my husband, but I was scared as my last relationship had been with a man who had left me. We talked, and I realized it had been him all along, the time with his father, The Wall, French class. I asked him about my friend, his coworker, and it turned out that Patrick was the one with whom he had shared all my cooking. It was also Patrick on the stage at the summer nightclub, doing the sound and lighting. My last day with Patrick was in July 2008. We had a wonderful date, but we were not able to meet up again after that due to our distance. The last week that Patrick and I talked was right before your workshop. He asked me to share my experiences with him when I got back. I also happened to mention that I had asked the doctors to check my heart. That same week, a few minutes before my heart test, I learned that Patrick had died, his own heart had given out. He had fallen down the stairs and had a heart attack either before he fell or somewhere along the way to the bottom of the steps. I never got to say goodbye. Since Patrick has passed on, he has communicated with me. These experiences show me that love never dies. When I was going to meet up with him on our first date, I had asked God to show me a sign when I met the right person. I then saw a shooting star at the same time that the song, Wish You Were Here, by Pink Floyd came on the radio. I took that as a sign and shared it with him. He said, "We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl," which is a lyric from the song. After he died, I asked Patrick to be with me one day as I went to the dentist. I said, "Let me hear that song one more time before I get there." As soon as I pulled into the parking lot of the dentist's office, the song came on. I got goosebumps while listening to it on the radio. I loved it, he was with me. After the appointment, I went home, and as soon as I walked into the house, my daughter came out with a painting she had done of Syd Barrett, a founding member of Pink Floyd. I had never shared my story about Patrick with her, or the meaning of the song to us. Next to the portrait with the words, "We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl." Judy, we are often so tentative with love. We stop, we hesitate, we rationalize, we become afraid, we walk away. But love is not tentative with us. It keeps coming back, trying again, setting up new opportunities. Love is persistent. Love never dies. We hear its songs whenever we stop to listen. We smell our beloved's scents even after they have passed on. We see their messengers, the birds and animals, the sky and other signs. We feel their touch. We receive their signals, we sense their presence. As Pink Floyd said in another song, and as Patrick would undoubtedly tell Judy himself, "I will always be here. I will always look out from behind these eyes. It's only a lifetime. It's only a lifetime." The Split Soul. It is 2001, and I am living with the love of my life. I am breathing love, I am seeing love, I am love. I feel more myself than I ever felt. I feel strong, glamorous, and so fortunate to be perfectly complete. I have the most amazing child and the most incredible man in my life. My family is fine. Because I feel invincible, I am successful. I become a little money-making machine. Life doesn't seem to get more perfect. I discover the deepest secrets of my sexuality, and every cell of my body is sensual. I am happy. I am love. The summer of 2004 comes, and he is gone. He had to choose between living with me, building a life with me and my son here in North America, or moving back to his old country in South America. I need to choose to let him go or choose to keep him. And I have the power to do both. We both know that our love stays the same, because there is no time, no past or future, it just is. Years pass by. I can't afford the luxury of getting depressed, so I fight it. My income drops drastically. My savings are paying the monthly bills. I am getting sick, my immune system fights against me. I am becoming desperate. Lying in bed, I have time to think and change my priorities. God is with me. I get back to the day-to-day life, but I am not myself again. I thought that He took away my desire and left me empty. My mind was saying that I had to close the door and forget Him. My heart was craving for His touch, and my soul closed the door and forget Him. My heart was craving for His touch, and my soul was totally and irrevocably in love with Him. Last year, I started to let your CDs guide me into my past lives. My past life is linked to my current one, and I understand that. The most unbelievable fact that I had acknowledged while regressing is that, during a life around the year 1850, I saw myself in the body of the man I love in this life. I was he, the man in this life that made me feel complete and perfect, the man that taught me to love myself, and because of this love I could love the universe. I was he. I am he. Back then, I saw him, me, being totally irresponsible, leaving my wife. No reason, just ignorance and selfishness. My wife back then was a dear friend I lost 10 years ago in the current life. She was caring, beautiful, smart, and fun back in that life, the same as she was in this one. When I regressed back to that time again at your conference in Toronto, the experience was so vivid. I saw myself in his body, not caring about anyone but myself. I saw myself dying alone in a railroad station. What did I have to learn? How to be alone, and how to be responsible. I did not learn that back then. I feel so much guilt for leaving my wife, my friend, it is hard to express in words. While regressed, my dear friend came to me, along with my uncle. They are both gone in this life, and they both came to comfort me, to calm me down. At the conference I was crying, feeling so deeply guilty, I was crying and could not stop. It's okay, it does not matter, it's fine. Calm down. It is okay. This is what they told me. I am learning my lessons, slowly but surely. I am very responsible in this life. I am raising my son by myself, and I work hard to offer him the world. The man I love, who is me, is responsible now too, back home in his country and raising his own children. We are finally getting it, and we are responsible. And alone. Why alone? Are we a split soul? Violet, even after their deaths, our loved ones often help and guide us from the other side, from the spiritual dimensions. Violet describes being comforted by her dear friend and by her uncle, both of whom had died. In the regressed state, when our usual mental barriers are relaxed, such helping visits by our spiritual family are more clearly perceived. Real and lasting happiness and joy cannot be dependent on others. These are inner states. Lovers may leave, but love cannot. It is our real nature. Violet is learning these difficult lessons, and she is finding an inner love that is permanent. Her karma is to feel the effects of her decisions and irresponsibility in the lifetime of the 1850s. The shoe is now on the other foot. Her dear friend, who was the wife back then, has already forgiven her. There is metaphor in this memory. Was she her lover then? Or was her subconscious showing her the connections to her present life, the karmic debts, and pointing to the lessons to be learned? Perhaps because she was the man who left his wife in the past life, Violet merged the two male identities into one. Further regression could bring defining details. Yet the real work is already done. Mark and Kathleen, a husband and wife whose story ends this chapter, describe their own journeys with the work of past life regression. Their experiences have helped them to understand not only each other but also other significant familial relationships at Soulmate. This is a part of Zindagi Ki Roshni consultancy. It has been established for those who have lost someone and for those who are very sad in their life. About 100 PDF books and 20 short audio books of this topic will be sent to those who join it. This data will be sent to their email or WhatsApp. If you want to join this organization, then please send WhatsApp message to this number.